Hi everyone. Today we are going to study the difference between Internet of Things and Internet. There is a lot of confusion between these two things. People often confuse Internet of Things with Internet, though we should understand that these are two completely different things. Internet of Things is different and Internet is different. So, what is this difference? The main difference between Internet of Things and Internet is the identity of the content creator. On the conventional Internet, content is consumed on a request basis, and in the IoT, on the other hand, the material is often consumed by sending a notice or initiating an action when a condition of interest is discovered. So, basically, in Internet, as we know, it is always on a request basis. Like I gave you the example of web browser in my previous videos, wherein when you sit on a web browser and you type the URL of a specific website, that means you are sending the request for that particular website. So, it is on request basis. And when we talk of Internet of Things, so how do you consume a material? Or it is consumed by sending a notice, like you send a notice or initiate an action is taken, and then according to the condition that occurs upon the condition that occurs when an action is taken, so that a particular event takes place. Say for example, when you step towards a censored based door, when you go to malls or hospitals and when there are sensor based doors, the moment you step near a sensor based door, the door automatically opens, right? So that means an action is initiated when a condition of interest is discovered. The condition of interest here is that when you step near the sensor based door, and what is an action? What is the action being initiated? That the door opens. So these are two different things. In Internet, it is a request based thing. You request for a specific data, you get it back. And in the Internet of Things, basically it is data is consumed by initiating an action. An action is initiated based on a condition that is required for that action to initiate. Now, the Internet of Things is a network of physical items that are infused with technology, and then they are linked to the Internet as well as other gadgets, right? So, Internet is involved in the Internet of Things, but Internet of Things is not just about the Internet. It is basically a network or web of physical items. These physical items includes your sensors, your actuators, your devices. So, they are all infused with technology. This technology which is backing all of them, and then they are linked to the Internet as well as other gadgets so that they can perform specific actions. These items capture and transmit information about how they are utilized and their surroundings. So, as I said, these devices or these items are sensor based, and the job of any sensor is to capture information and to present it in a human understandable form. So, these items basically capture and then transmit information about how they are utilized in their specific surroundings. Status data, automation data, location data are three forms of IoT that vary depending upon the device that generates it and the use case. Now, the Internet, as we know, is a vast network that connects numerous computers. How are we all connected? How are all the devices, be it your computers or laptops or smartphones, how are they connected? With the help of Internet, which is basically a vast network connecting all these devices and other electronic gadgets all around the world. Anyone can get nearly any information, interact with anyone on the globe, and do a lot more using the Internet. This thing you all are very well aware of. You can get any information on the Internet. You just search for something and you get it. You can interact with anyone on the globe. Sitting here in India, you can interact with people sitting in California or Paris. So, I mean, you are just, the world has become a global village because of Internet, and you can do a lot more things using the Internet. Now, decentralization is a feature of the Internet. Nobody possesses the Internet or has control over who can access it. So, that is why we call it decentralization, because it is not owned by a specific person. It is not or a specific party, it is not centralized, it is decentralized. That means it is spread throughout and can be used by any and everyone. Nobody has control over who can access it. Nobody can decide whether you will be able to access the internet or not, as long as you have the valid internet connection. So for that reason, internet is called decentralized. When we talk of IoT or the Internet of Things, it is a branch of computer science in which physical items communicate over the internet. So IoT is that particular branch of computer science wherein you have devices of physical items. The devices here are also known as physical items. And how are these devices communicating with each other? These devices are communicating over the internet. Now these devices or these gadgets are programmed to function in response to a certain event. So these devices are embedded with a lot of technology. It involves artificial intelligence, it involves sensors, it involves actuators, and obviously internet is required for communication. So device to device communication takes place with the help of internet, and they function in response to a certain event. Like I gave you the example of a sensor based door. Another example is a digital thermometer. When the digital thermometer touches your skin, so in response to the touch of the skin, it performs a certain event, and that event is giving you the temperature in digital form or human understandable form. The Internet of Things delivers the potential of the web, data processing and analytics to the physical world. So basically whatever is the potential of the web, that is communicating things. So Internet of Things, devices use the internet or the web to communicate with each other. They perform data processing after capturing the data, and provide an analysis or analytics to the physical world based on that data processing. IoT, like numerous machines to many machines, is the development of the machine to machine concept with many devices involved. So basically in IoT, the major communication is between devices or machines. So it is a machine to machine concept. Physical equipments and gadgets as well as virtualized services and operations are all represented by the term things. So when I say Internet of Things, that means all the things which are consuming the internet, and these things involved a wide array of things, from which include the physical equipments, which include the gadgets, which include the virtualized services, which include the operations. So these are all represented by the term thing. Clusters of IoT are groups of items on a network. When I say cluster of IoT, that means a group of physical devices or items on a network that communicate directly with one another. So such devices which are enabled with the IoT technology are communicating with each other. That is called a cluster of IoT. Now, if you consider a linked house with numerous distinct types of connected gadgets all communicated with one another over the same network. Nowadays, we are using IoT based devices in our homes also. Like you have Alexa at your home, or you have automatic geysers which turn off beyond a certain temperature on their own, or you can switch on your AC even when you're outside your home from your mobile phone. So that means all the gadgets are communicating with one another in the over the same network. Intermediary things, also known as hubs or relays. Basically hubs or relays are the intermediary things, because they are the ones which are transferring data to different devices. So they are the central point where one device sends the data, and from that central point the data passes on to some other device or devices. So these intermediary things, which are also known as hubs or relays, increase the scope of all the internet devices across a variety of network and device types and vendors. A cloud based hub or relay can be used to connect clusters of objects throughout locations and even continents, although it is not required for each cluster to work properly. So when you require communication across continents, then you can use cloud based hub. That means cloud based technology and not any physical hub, which can be used to connect those clusters of objects throughout any location or even continents. The data is collected by sending it from the devices to a central location. So, how do you collect the data in IoT? It is sent from a particular device to a certain central location. Now, data may move wirelessly or across wired networks using a variety of ways. So, just like in internet, here also in Internet of Things, data can move in any of the way. It can be wireless communication or it can be wired communication. The internet has such a broad and strong capability that it may be used for nearly any information based purpose, and it is available to anybody who connects to one of its component connections. It facilitates human contact through social media, email, chat systems, news groups and audio and video transmission, as well as allowing individuals to collaborate remotely. So, internet has an access to any and everyone. Nobody can possess or control the internet. It is decentralized, and you can contact humans through social media websites, through emails, through chat systems, through news groups. You can have audio and video transmission, which is basically the audio and video calls that you do, as well as you can collaborate using the internet remotely. That means one person sitting at one geographical location and the other person sitting at another geographical location, still they can collaborate with each other with the help of internet. The internet has spawned a huge and rising number of e-business that conduct the majority of their products and services online. So, because of internet, the e-business is spawning nowadays. You see so many e-business sites, the Amazon or Flipkart or any such site, you can name a lot of them. So, these are all spawning because of the internet, and they that conduct majority of their products and services online. So, majority of the products and services are provided online. You order so many things online on these e-business sites. To its dispersed applications, the internet offers two services: a connection oriented services and a wireless service. Obviously, we all know this fact that internet can be used in either of the two ways. It can be used in a wireless manner, it can be used in a wired manner. A connection oriented service, to put it another way, ensures that data sent from a sender to a receiver is delivered to the recipient in the order it was sent and in its whole. Though connection oriented services are considered more reliable because they ensure that a data is sent to the intended recipient in the same order in which it was sent and not out of order. Now, let us look at a summary or gist of the differences, major differences between internet and Internet of Things. So, what are the main differences between Internet of Things and internet? With the Internet of Things, more attention is placed on the actual world rather than the virtual world. Right. So, Internet of Things focuses on the things which are present then and there physically. Like in your house, if you are using, if you are controlling the temperature of your AC, or you are switching on and or you are switching the AC on and off with your mobile app, even if when you are out of your house, that means something that is not a virtual thing, that is the actual physical thing that is happening. So, for that reason, we say that the Internet of Things, more attention is placed on the actual world than the virtual world, promoting a better balance of virtual and real experiences, in contrast to the internet, which is more inclined towards the virtual world. In internet, we are more inclined towards the virtual world. Nothing physically or actually then and there in front of you is happening. Whatever information you are accessing, that is in the virtual world. You see Facebook, that is not physical, that is in the virtual world. You chat with people, that is in the virtual world, that is not physically then and there in front of you. So, the basic difference you can say is that Internet of Things focuses more on the actual world and internet focuses more on the virtual world. Then the second point of difference is that IoT is primarily concerned with content creation. The focus here is on creating content, whereas the internet is concerned with both content generation and consumption. So, you are both consuming and generating the content in case of internet, but in case of IoT or the Internet of Things, the focus is primarily on creating content. IoT is based on the physical first notation, whereas internet is based on both the physical first and digital first concepts. In IoT, the main focus is on physical aspect, whereas on internet, physical as well as both digital aspects are covered. Then IoT uses a multi-point connection, whereas internet uses both point-to-point and multi-point connection. So this is another major difference, that IoT uses only multi-point connections and it does not use point-to-point connections, whereas internet uses both point-to-point and multi-point connections. Now what is multi-point connection? Basically it is used in wireless internet. When we are using wireless connections, in that case we use multi-point connections. In multi-point connections, what happens is that a central antenna or antenna array broadcasts to several receiving antennas, and the system uses a form of time division multiplexing to allow for the return channel traffic. Basically it connects more than two devices together. Examples of multi-point connections are your token ring, frame relay, Ethernet and ATM. And when we talk of point-to-point connection, in point-to-point connection, a communication connection between two communication endpoints or nodes. That means only two endpoints or two nodes are involved and no more than two nodes are involved. This term is also used in computer networking to refer to a wire or other connection that links only two computers or circuits. Example of a point-to-point connection is telephone call, lease lines, microwaves and radio relays. Now the fifth point is that physical linkages between websites are used to connect users on the conventional internet. There needs to be a physical link between various websites so that users can be connected on that internet, whereas in the Internet of Things, content is merged using operators that are expressly stated. So we can conclude that IoT is a collection of interconnected devices, all the devices which are interconnected with each other through the internet. As a result, higher integration abilities and end-to-end thinking are required for the Internet of Things. Smart homes nowadays, which are using all these technologies, like I told you, your Alexa, the AC which can be controlled with your mobile apps, even your cars can be controlled with the mobile apps, your geyser can be controlled with your mobile apps. So these are all examples of smart homes. And smart cities as well as manufacturing, telemedicine and precision agriculture are all being pushed forward by the Internet of Things. So all these areas are nowadays using the Internet of Things. While the Internet of Things full promise has yet to be realized, because it is a developing technology, it is not fully developed as yet. So full promise from the Internet of Things has yet to be realized, which already has a lot of practical uses in the real world. The Internet is a global network that allows enterprises, governments, colleges and other institutions to communicate with one another. The result is a maze of wires, computer systems, storage systems, routers, servers, repeaters, satellites and Wi-Fi towers that allow digital data to go across the globe. So basically these were the major differences between the Internet of Things and the Internet. So you can say that they are often intertwined and some aspects of their evolution occurred together, but it is important to understand the differences between the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything. When I say Internet of Everything, that means internet. So Internet of Everything involves everything possible. So that is why Internet is also known as Internet of Everything, but the Internet of Things involves only those specific things that we just mentioned. So the primary difference between the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything are the pillars for clearing your concepts. The Internet of Things focuses on physical objects or devices, as I told you. So it focuses on things. That is why the name Internet of Things. Whereas the Internet of Everything, which is your internet, so you don't need to confuse it, get confused, it is your internet. When I say internet of everything, that means the internet which we use. So, the internet of everything focuses on 4 constituents, and what are these 4 major constituents? People, things, data and processes. So, you can say that the internet of things focuses only on the things, whereas internet focuses on all things including people, things, data and processes. So, simply put, the internet of things involves the interconnectivity of physical objects or devices and of course the data input and output, while the internet or the internet of everything is a comprehensive term that refers to the interconnectivity of various technologies, processes and people, and despite these differences they share some similarities. So, what are the similarities? One similarity is decentralization. Both are distributed and don't operate within a centralized system, giving them independence. Second feature is, similar feature is security. Since they are decentralized or distributed, so distributed systems are vulnerable to obviously cyber attacks and breaches, though decentralization ensures that the entire system and its connected devices aren't compromised if problems occur in specific areas, and various security measures are taken for that. So, these were the differences between the internet of things and the internet.